So good afternoon, I'm Daniele Melaccio. I work at Institute of Computational Linguistics in Pisa, and today I present you part of the work we are doing in H2IOSC project. So what we are dealing in this presentation is metadata interoperability. So how we can interconnect metadata among different research infrastructures. So of course, I want to acknowledge the institute I work in, CLARIN, for being part of the project and part of this convention, and H2IOSC because it's a great project that brings together such diversity and such different domains. So Pierpaolo before me introduced the project, and what I want to focus here is as I said, the interoperability, the metadata description, and how different infrastructures, how different cultural domains can interact with each other on a semantic level and on an operational level. And so here you can see the work breakdown structure of the project. As you can see, the work package 4 is what is it lies at the heart of this project, and it's the precursor to the marketplace, which is part of work package 5, which was presented earlier by Pierpaolo. So sorry. In this slide, you can see a very simplified architecture of what we're dealing with and what the different domains, the different environments we are trying to put together. So on the left, you can see the blue box where CLARIN is, and I chose some relevant topics, hot nodes, that I am going to analyze later. So of course we have the switchboard, language research switchboard, the federated content search, the VLO, and the resource families, which are the main point on which we worked to go towards interoperability. In particular, we analyzed how the concept registry and the SIMD work, because that's the entry point and the key to connecting the CLARIN word, CLARIN environment, CLARIN to H2IOSC. CLARIN in H2IOSC has offers different kinds of services and tools. We have the repository, we have linguistic services and pilots, we have the training environment. So it's a huge mass of resources and tools. And all this all this ecosystem needs to be mapped, needs to communicate with the marketplace, which, as we saw earlier, is a complex structure. So in order to do our work to work on the interoperability, of course, we needed to take into account some previous works, which was the SIMD to RDF project, which proved the feasibility of the translation of SIMD metadata into RDF triples, and the SHOCK project, which came up with the idea of a common semantic frameworks among different infrastructures, and which produced the SHOCK reference ontology, which is an ontology that it's built on the CDOC-CRM, and it expands the CDOC-CRM with specific entities that are related to the SSH domain. So in order to build the H2IOSC common semantic framework, what was done was to select a top-level backbone, which is made up with CDOC-CRM and SHOCK row, which lie on top of all the other semantic structure below. And then we needed to take into account the specificity, it's difficult, and richness of each research infrastructures involved in the project. So we needed to create some domain ontologies that could describe in a specific and respectful way each infrastructure domain. So this is the common semantic framework as we mean it. And from this common semantic framework, a data model was extracted and was used to catalog and to describe services in the marketplace. So to answer a question raised earlier by Ian, what we did with the marketplace is we took the H2IOSC common semantic framework and we made an operational implementation, which is a data model which is made up of attributes, properties, and controlled vocabularies. So each of the four infrastructures was asked to select the preferred controlled vocabularies to describe its services. We were asked to come to an agreement on which vocabularies, attributes, and properties we wanted to describe our services. And this data model serves as a pragmatic layer that enables the marketplace to fulfill its role as a catalog and an orchestrator, as Pierpaolo showed before. So the main focus of this presentation is CLARIN domain ontology. So the 1/4 part of the H2IOSC common semantic framework. And what we did was follow a top-down mapping strategy. So we build on ShocRow and CDOC CRM as a top layer, and we select in ShocRow our entry points in the ontology. And then we use the CLARIN resource families and the switchboard to integrate CLARIN resources into this semantic framework. So we use these CLARIN resource families to describe textual and linguistic resources, and we use the language resource switchboard to describe the services and tools in CLARIN. Of course, concept registry and SIMD were the base for all for the correct exposition and description of metadata, because SIMD is the way CLARIN describes its metadata. We wanted to bridge this method of description towards H2IOSC, so we didn't lose the specificity of SIMD in the language resources domain, but we also needed to communicate with other infrastructures, so we needed to kind of balance and match all these needs. So we chose, as you can see down below on the right, we chose the dataset node of Shock reference ontology and the tool node of Shock reference ontology. And under these nodes, we created 3 different nodes, one for corpora, one for lexical resources, and one for linguistic tools. And for each of these nodes, we added at the level below, we added nodes that were matched and mapped to the CLARIN resource families, as you can see. So here you can see the list of corpora on the resource families on the right, and on the left you can see the protégé the protégé representation of our ontology. We did the same with lexical resources, of course, and for tools we chose the categories showed on the language resource switchboard, because we found that the resource family categories were not enough, or were not they needed to be improved a little to describe all the different kinds of services. So what we did was take the categories as shown as today on the switchboard, and we created nodes for them in our domain ontology. So I have 2 case studies to show. I'll go through them very quickly. So we chose a corpus, Musisque Deoque, which is a literary corpus in Latin of texts and poems. And we took the metadata description that you can find on ILC for CLARIN, and we mapped each metadata using properties and entities which are already present in CLARIN. And on the left, you can see how Protégé shows this kind of mapping. We also took into account UDPipe, which is something which is a very important service for our community, and UDPipe will be exposed in the marketplace as part of deals we have taken with Claria CH. And here on the left, you can see that UDPipe is mapped towards 4 different kinds of tools description nodes. And so here I wanted to show an example of how descriptive this kind of method can be. So to sum up our work, we chose this entry point at the top level with CLARIN and Chocro, which was common for all 4 infrastructures in H2IOSC. Moving down, after having chosen our entry points, we used CLARIN resource families and switchboard to map services, resources, and tools. And the SIMD descriptions, which of course are derived from concepts from the CLARIN concept registry, we were able to map them using properties and entities in CLARIN. So this approach is a top-down approach, which of course was requested as the first part of our work. But we have also started a bottom-up approach because as part of H2IOSC, we are trying to show the use of the marketplace to orchestrate different services. And a federation pilot is, as we call it, is under development, where we take services and resources from the 4 different infrastructures, and we try to orchestrate a workflow among all different infrastructures. So we not only needed a top-level ontology to describe resources and data in general, so outside the resource itself, but we also needed a work that was done from the bottom up. To account here, you can see some examples made on the token on the tokens that are part of different layers of linguistic analysis, and this section is part of what we will offer to this federation pilot. So to conclude my presentation, of course, the effort we put towards this work is to enhance cross infrastructures compatibility and interoperability, and we are using H2IOSC as a playground to prove that to some extent things are possible. And we also wanted to show that metadata, as described in CLARIN, can be enriched through the mapping towards an ontology-based mediation, of course. And we try to look to the future because H2IOSC is coming to an end. It will end in April 2026. And we are trying to build a ground for future integration towards other marketplaces and other projects other than outside Italy and outside the CLARIN domain. So thank you. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I like this work very much, and I actually see potential to use the same methodology to let's say, combine the information in the CLARIN resource families and the information that's currently in the VLO for the corresponding resources, because there's an incompatibility there as well, and this might be a method to link them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can ask Pierpaolo that. Is the marketplace still already online, or is it?
It could be online. Okay. We wrote this contribution, and when we plan to develop to expose the marketplace in 15th of September. But as I said, there are a lot of components that made up the marketplace. A lot of services. Some of these services are not ready at this moment. So we have a staging way to see the marketplace. The marketplace works. Yes, but it's not online for all.
Yeah, to add something to what Pierpaolo said, we are currently developing the API management and orchestration part. So that's taking us some time, of course, and it's underway. So yeah, when the marketplace will be online, when this layer of orchestration and management will be ready.